Hi everyone and welcome back. It's Mindy with Mindy Egan Design, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made these really cute treat boxes that I gave for back to school treats to the teachers this year. So there is a lot of die cutting. I did speed through some of the Copic coloring because it is pretty quick and easy, but I wanted to show you what I had all used and how I had done it. So this is using the tote bag die from Fawn, and I have a piece of mermaid cardstock cut down into 6 by 12, and that fit perfectly on my Big Shot, and I could run this through twice with that one piece of cardstock, so I'm getting one complete bag out of that. Then I'm coming in, and this is using the stitched apple frame die, and I just have that small apple there that I'm cutting out of the chili pepper cardstock. And now, mind you, I'm showing bits and pieces, but I actually made like 20 of these treat bags. So I just recorded bits and pieces of what I had done. So I ran that through to add up to my 20. And you can see it creates that really cute frame, and I can save the inside part for something else. Now I'm coming in with the outside in stitched apple stackable. And this I'm cutting out of vanilla cardstock. This is going to be kind of the inside of my apple, and the vanilla malt cardstock worked out really well. And I'm just going to be using that middle section. So there were a couple to show you. And now I'm taking paper bag cardstock, which worked out really well for the stem. There's stems on both of these apple frame and the outside in stitched apple, so you could use either one, whichever looked really good with your proportion for your apple. And I ran that through numerous times. Now I'm taking this gorgeous green glitter cardstock. This is out of the holiday pack, and this is beautiful. I love it. The glitter does not come off. You can see I'm rubbing my finger there. Nothing comes off. I love glitter on my projects. I just don't like the mess. So this new glitter cardstock from Fawn is amazing. And it worked out so great for my leaves. Now I'm taking that inside piece with the vanilla malt cardstock, and I'm putting this in my Misty because it's going to come in really handy for me to do this 20 times. So I'm lining this up in the top corner, and then using some of my creative corners, I'm just going to make this straight. This is the sentiment off of the So OWLSOME stamp set, and I actually trimmed it so it would fit the inside of my apple. And I'm just lining these up to make sure they're straight in the middle of this apple. And then once I have this lined up, it's just an assembly line. I'm just going to keep stamping, bringing in my pieces. And like I said, I did 20 of these, and this probably took me over the course of maybe 2 or 3 days. Kind of broke up my project a little bit. This was right before school started, so I had these ready for orientation day, and the teachers absolutely loved them. I'm going to be using some jet black ink from Fawn. On a second thought, like a dark brown would look really cool too for the inside of it. And then that just says, "Thanks for being my teacher." And these would work great as like a just because. It doesn't even have to be, a back to school treat. These could be just something really fun to make for the teacher for all their hard work. And then you can see I had lined up my frame is going to fit perfectly. My sentiment shows through. These are really, really cute. The teachers always get a kick out of these little gift bags and interactive cards. So I was really happy to make these. Now with this part I left in the video, but it didn't actually end up showing up. I took a cloud stencil, and using some Salty Ocean Distress ink, I tried adding in some clouds to my background because I wanted kind of a little scene. But once I had all my elements on the front of my tote bag, you really couldn't see those clouds. But I wanted to show you just in case that was something you wanted to try. Now I'm going to be taking the frame, and I'm attaching it to that vanilla malt cardstock with the sentiment on it. I'm using the Fawn glue and attaching my leaf behind it and then the stem. And what I ended up doing is I did this a few times, and I would glue one together, stack a block on top of it, and put it off on the side just to make sure that that glue held really well to that glitter cardstock. Since that is textured, it needs a little bit more reinforcement. So I kind of figured that out as I went along. And like I said, it was just an assembly line. I had all of my pieces cut. They were stamped. I just had to glue these together. So I'm just going to glue that, put it off on the side, set a block on top of it. I actually had a couple blocks, so I could just kind of let it sit there for a few minutes, really give that glue time to attach. And these were just, this actually, the assembly line part really went fast. It was just so much die cutting since I did do 20 of them. And the reason for that is because my son has a couple main teachers, but because he's autistic, he's in special ed classes. So he has a couple special education teachers. He has a lot of aides. And then I made some for office staff and the gym teacher, things like that. So I tend to go overboard just because there are so many people in my son's life that I want to show appreciation to. Now I took the owl from the So OWLSOME set, and I stamped these all out. I did some really quick coloring here. I laid in a light color, which is the E31. I did try to come in with an E34, but it really wasn't working for me, so I ended up doing E35. And as I went along, it was probably just a little too dark for the middle than what I wanted, but I wasn't going to change it. I was already in the motion, so I just left it. So I did the E31 in the inside and then just a little bit of the E35 on the outer edges of the owl's belly. And like I said, I did speed this up quite a bit. It was pretty simple coloring and just coming back in to blend out that E35 with the E31. And you can see it got pretty dark there, but I was on a roll. I wasn't switching it up at this point. So once I have the bellies colored, then I'll come in and do the outside of the owl. And for this, I used E29, E27, and E25. I laid down the E25 first, just as a quick base coat. And then I'll come in with an E29 and give some real quick shading just to the very edges of the wings and on the side, and blending out with an E27. And I apologize, I must have shut my camera off after this first row of owls, but you can see how I just did a really quick shading in there. And like I said, nothing fancy. There were so many of them. So here is the completed sheet. Those are so adorable. And what I did was just took the coordinating die to cut all of those out. Now I'm using this little balloon set, and this actually came off of the Coaster Critter stamp set. I just thought the owl would look really cute holding balloons. My son loves balloons, so I just thought this was kind of a nice little added extra to put in there. I'm going through and just adding in a quick base coat of the lightest color, which for the red, that's R24. Then BO2 is the lightest blue. And Y15 is the lightest yellow. And I'm just coming in with the darkest color of each and throwing in a quick line. I don't even really blend them out except for the red. That really bothered me, so I blended out the red a little bit. So that was R39 was the darkest red, B04 is the darkest blue, and then Y35 is the darkest yellow. And I'll do the same thing there. I'm just using that coordinating die, and I'm going to die cut out all of those balloons. Now for the assembly of the bag. So there are scored lines on here when you die cut it. And I'm just taking the Lawn Fawn bone folder, which is a really nice tool. I've honestly never had a real bone folder before. I've always had just whatever came with the scoreboard. So this is a really awesome tool to have in your stash. And I'm just going through and folding all of those score lines and giving it a nice crease with the bone folder. I thought I would add a little bit of grass to the bottom of my box. You could also use a die that would cut it like grass, but like I said, 20 of them. I was just going for quick here, so I just did a really quick strip of the green cilantro cardstock. And then I'm putting together the front of my box before I put it together. It's a lot easier to decorate your box before you actually assemble it. So I have my owl holding the balloons with that cute little apple there. And then I'm using this 1/8 of an inch score tape for those tabs on the side of the box. And then I'm also going to put it on the bottom of the box, but only on one piece. So you can see I'm just adding a couple strips. The score tape is great because it's going to hold up to transportation, the teacher's moving it around, and then I'll just remove that, and you can see I'm lining that up with the other piece, the bottom of the other piece of the box. And then remove those strips and attach one side of my box. And removing the strips and attaching this second side and kind of keeping your tabs folded in. It'll be easier when you go to push that up to meet with the sides. And a quick trick that you can use with that Teflon bone folder is taking that flat edge, put your box down on the table, and you can give that a really good push in the inside. Instead of trying to fit your fingers in there to push that down, that bone folder really helps and really does the trick. So you can see now I have this really cute little tote bag. There's also some scored lines on the side that you can kind of push in to form that tote bag. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video taking a look at the treat boxes that I made for all of the teachers. I'll have all of the supplies listed on my blog and down in the description area as well. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Thank you so much for stopping by and have an amazing day.